Coming up on the Charge On Air, President Trump's tariffs could impact the price of some of your favorite summer items.
Computer science majors are worried about the current job market.
A new report from the National Bridge Inventory rates several Florida bridges in poor condition.
In sports, women's rugby is off to nationals.
The Charge On Air starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to the Charge On Air. I'm Caysea Stone.
And I'm Lukas Miller. Today is Friday, April 25th, 2025.
Temperatures aren't the only thing heating up this summer. I had the chance to speak with the president of UCF Surf Club to find out how raising tariffs could impact hitting the waves. If your summers normally consist of a new swimsuit, a few Coronas, and searching the coast for the best waves, it may cost you a bit more than last year. On April 9th, President Donald Trump announced that the United States would impose a 125% tariff on Chinese imports. This is in addition to the tariffs imposed on China earlier this year, along with Canada and Mexico to stop drugs like fentanyl from entering the U.S. This brings the tariff on Chinese imports to 145% and Canadian and Mexican imports to 25%. UCF political science professor Dr. Aubrey Jewett says Americans can expect to see price increases within a matter of weeks.
It's not the Chinese that pay these higher tariffs. It's the American importers who then presumably have to pass those costs along to the consumers that will buy those goods here in America. So
imports from America's top three trading partners accounted for 44.6% of the country's total imports for 2022. These imports include all sorts of things, including almost everything and your average summer to-go bag. It's easy to forget just how many things America sources from different countries. 67% of surfboards in the U.S. are imported from China. The president of UCF Surf Club, Chloe Martin, says replacing a surfboard can be as often as every few months if you're surfing multiple times a week.
Most surfers probably have at least like 3 or 4 boards for different types of waves. So that's at least, 600 to 800 a board. I mean, honestly, they could be a lot more than that too.
An $800 surfboard hit with the new 145% tariff sounds like the surf isn't the only thing that's up. Reporting in Orlando, Caysea Stone, The Charge On Air. China has since increased its tariff on American imports, saying they're ready to fight to the end.
Another semester coming to a close means that many nights are on the job hunt, but computer science majors seem to be dealing with an especially competitive job market. Charge On Air reporter Nicholas Hernandez has more on what students are up against.
With graduation right around the corner, many computer science majors say they feel uneasy about their current job market. Arup Guha is a senior instructor in computer science at UCF. He says that the demand for jobs could be affected by increased productivity rates within companies due to advancements in AI. But he also says that humans will still be needed to work alongside AI, no matter how good it gets.
I still feel we're going to need a lot of computer programmers and software engineers. We need students who understand the material well and can very much check if, say, auto-produced code is actually accurate.
Guha compared working with AI to having a teammate in basketball. Sometimes you trust them to take the shot, but other times you got to be there for the rebound. That's why the main concern for many computer science majors is actually how many people are there on the court.
According to UCF, the number of nights enrolling in computer science degrees has only been increasing throughout the years. Mariel Sabat is a junior accounting and computer science major at UCF. She says that with so many people entering the field chasing big dollar bags, it's difficult to land a job off of merit alone.
It really does come down to the cliche of networking. If you fall into the lucky few, you can get in. But in my experience and with a lot of people in my community, there's been a lot more struggle than what we believed we would have.
With such a competitive job market, Sabat says that understanding AI can give job seekers an edge to stand out to employers. With enough time, she says she has hope that the oversaturated job market will correct itself and find a balance again. In Orlando, Nicholas Hernandez, The Charge On Air.
Sabat says that computer science majors should look for networking opportunities through internships and clubs to improve their shot at landing a job.
UCF students looking to make a difference on campus now have a chance to bring their vision to life with a little financial help. The Lou Frey Institute of Politics and Government is now accepting applications for its 2024 to 2025 student micro grant program. These grants offer up to $500 for registered student organizations looking to lead civic engagement initiatives. These grants get students involved in addressing public concerns. The application process is open on a rolling basis through May 2nd. To learn more or apply, students can visit Howard Phillips Hall.
Bridges connect our communities, but what happens when those connections start to crack? The National Bridge Inventory surveyed every bridge in the United States, and nearly 300 bridges in Florida alone were rated in poor condition. I had the chance to learn what that really means for drivers across the state. When starting your car, how often do you think about the roads you're about to drive on? Well, maybe that should be a little more frequent because the National Bridge Inventory found that almost 300 bridges in the state of Florida are in poor condition. With almost 24 million people living in Florida, that's a lot of people that these bridges have to withstand. Meet Dr. Nakati Kabas, a structural engineer who explains how bridges are tested to handle weight, weather, and wear to keep us safe.
But the bridges age due to environment, rain, wind, hurricane, traffic loads, all these stressors. But what we do is we can conduct some tests so that we can see if the condition of the bridge is at the acceptable level.
Now that we know how these bridges like the one behind me work, let's hear from somebody that uses these every single day to get to school. Commuter Jandro Damas Sosa says that after hearing about the state of our bridges, he feels a lot more unsafe.
I ride a motorcycle, so it's already concerning enough with road conditions, and knowing that the bridges here are like at risk of falling or crumbling or getting damaged or more potholes coming onto them, it's definitely very concerning for me.
So the next time you're going somewhere, check the National Bridge Inventory to make sure you're taking a good bridge rather than a poor one. In Orlando, Lukas Miller, the Charge On Air. Students, if you cross bridges frequently, do try and map out the safest way to get to where you're going.
President Trump is gearing up for the future of crypto by establishing a U.S. Bitcoin reserve. Charge On Air reporter Stephen Brown breaks down what that means and why it's already shaking up the market.
Last month, President Trump's executive order created what he calls the Fort Knox of digital assets. The directive says no Bitcoin will be sold, and to obtain more, it must be budget neutral. Bitcoin's price fell nearly $12,000 in the days after the order was signed. Eshwar Venugopal is a professor of finance here at UCF. He says the price fell because the reserve cannot purchase coins, leading to a drop in demand.
I think it went up to 103,000 somewhere in December, and then it's sort of moderated from there. All of it was based on the fact that there'd be a lot more new demand, which basically vanished overnight with this particular order. So that was probably the reason. I think it dropped by more than 5%, if I remember, on that thing.
Behind me is where the Young Investors Club meets every week. They discuss investment strategies and their holdings in the market, including Bitcoin. And with President Trump's order from last month, there is a lot to talk about.
UCF senior finance major Thomas Bellini is vice president of the Young Investors Club. He has holdings in Bitcoin and is not worried about its ever-changing nature.
I've been investing in cryptocurrency since 2017, and the more it's grown, the less volatile it's become. So although this, if you're used to traditional markets, may be scarily volatile, for me, I've seen a lot worse. So I'm confident in my holdings, I'm confident in the technology behind it, and I'm not worried with what's been going on lately.
Bitcoin is down from its record price in January, but President Trump has vowed to make the U.S. the Bitcoin capital of the world. In Orlando, Stephen Brown, The Charge On Air.
As of April 17th, Bitcoin is trading just above $85,000, up more than 26% in the past 6 months. No one really knows what's going on with Bitcoin.
Yeah, crypto's kind of crazy, but the summer weather, pretty consistent. What's it look like, Matthew?
Well, the Florida usual. It's going to be hot and it's going to be humid. Now let's take a look at our current conditions. Currently it's 88 degrees, the humidity is at 54%, the winds are blowing in an eastern direction at 7 miles per hour, and we have a 2% chance of rain today. That's all I have for now. Back to our anchors.
Coming up, a look ahead at how to beat the Florida heat this summer.
Plus, why some UCF students are struggling with subleasing. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. One in 3 adults has prediabetes, and you could be one of them. There are usually no signs for prediabetes, so it's important to understand your risk. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Summer's right around the corner, and so is that infamous Florida heat. For some students, that means packing a fan, but for others, the rising temperatures pose serious health risks. Charge On Air reporter Camila Escobar talks about extra steps to stay safe under the sun.
Florida might not be breaking any records this summer, but the heat is here to stay. When the temperature rises, Junior Alexandria Webb says that it's harder to regulate her body temperature. Every day, she takes iron pills to help combat her iron deficiency and avoid excessive sweating and feeling nauseous.
So I take iron pills just because I am iron deficient. During the summer, it's really hot and I'm more receptive to the heat. So taking 1 pill a day really helps with this, just because some of my symptoms are like nausea, sweating.
Sunglasses are on and fans are out, which can only mean one thing, that summer is just around the corner. Whether it's walking to class or sitting by the reflection pond, students at UCF are already finding ways to beat the heat.
Climate Prediction Center says temperatures in Florida this year are likely to be 50 to 60% above average. That kind of heat can do more than just make you sweat. It can be dangerous, especially for students with sensitive health conditions. Crystal Zavallo with UCF Student Health Services says the most important thing for students to understand about heat safety is the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke.
So heat exhaustion doesn't necessarily need emergency medical intervention, but heat stroke does. So just kind of understanding that there is kind of a step in your body's telling you that it's a little too warm before things get emergency standards.
For students, relaxing and enjoying the sun on campus doesn't have to be a challenge. Zavallo says wearing hats, drinking more water, and finding shade when staying outside for too long are just some ways students can stay cool and avoid overheating. In Orlando, Camila Escobar, The Charge On Air.
If you or someone you know needs help handling the heat this summer, visit UCF Health's website at ucfhealth.com for more information.
As the spring semester begins to come to an end and summer is right around the corner, many UCF students are looking to travel away from their apartments. However, several students who live in apartments are struggling to find someone to take over the remainder of their lease. Charge On Air reporter Ashley Reep tells us more.
When you're looking to find an apartment around UCF, there's many options available, such as the 9,
the Avs, or the Point. However, with rent prices going up in Orlando, many students have been stressed about paying rent in general, especially for a unit they may not be occupying. Andrea Mello, a sophomore student at UCF who lives at Mercury 3100, has to leave her apartment by the end of April for an internship abroad during the summer. She has been trying to find someone to take over her lease, but has had no luck, and she says she wishes UCF did more to help with the issue.
If it is a UCF affiliated apartment complex, I do genuinely think that apartment complexes should be required to be for the tenant to be able to terminate the contract.
While some students have gotten lucky in finding someone to take over their lease, many have not heard from anybody. As rent continues to increase in Orlando, several students are concerned for their financial future due to this issue.
According to Zumper, the rent prices have increased by 3% in the last year, and in this April alone, the median rent for all bedroom counts and property types is 8% higher than the national average. Another student, Hannah Warkington, a student who graduated last fall, has been trying to sublease her apartment at the Village at Science Drive since September 2024. She said the process has impacted her life a lot and been a huge struggle.
Yeah, it's definitely been a major headache for me. I'm spending the vast majority of my life savings that I could be using to eventually move out, but now that's just going to set me back even further.
Some apartment complexes, such as the Point at Central and Mercury 3100, do offer a subleasing list for students to put their name down on. It is encouraged for students to check if their apartment complex has a subleasing list and to continue to post their apartment lease on social media, but other than that, there's not much more students can do than to wait. In Orlando, Ashley Reap, The Charge on Air.
Students can find more information about subleasing by directly contacting their apartment to see what options are available to them.
Shoppers can expect a tax-free holiday on emergency supplies as hurricane season approaches. During the tax holiday, essential items for weathering storms like tarps, flashlights, generators, and of course batteries are tax-free. The dates for the tax-free holiday haven't officially been announced, but the event usually kicks off at the start of June. These supplies tend to fly off the shelves right before a storm hits, so if you're able, stocking up early could save you money and stress later on.
Sea turtle nesting season is right around the corner. The season begins May 1st through October 31st, but some turtles have already started nesting. On March 9th, turtle trackers found the earliest recorded nest on county-managed beaches. Trackers found a leatherback turtle nesting on New Smyrna Beach. Loggerhead Marine Life Center says beachgoers should keep their distance and minimize lights. Students heading to the beach this summer be on the lookout for turtle nests and follow nesting protocols.
Coming up, the National Weather Service says the summer could bring scorching temperatures, even in the triple digits.
Plus, returning football head coach Scott Frost makes a big move to support athletic success on campus.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Being a cowboy, I don't know anything different from when I was 3 or 4 years old. I did tough things. I thought everybody needed to do tough things, and if you didn't, I didn't have time for it. I had a very successful career at a very young age, and life was fast. I was preparing physically. I wasn't doing anything mentally on the inside. And then I got hurt. I wanted to be better as a person, and I really dug into mental health. I start my day with 20-minute workouts. I live life 8 seconds at a time. Horses are so therapeutic. They know what you're feeling. When you're nervous, they're nervous. He won't say it back, but we're pals. I take a lot of responsibility in taking care of my kids, my family, and being there for them. You're gonna have tough days. Everybody does. Find a place to stop and just breathe. Love your mind.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Okay.
We'd never babysit with a screen. We said we'd never let the toys take over.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight.
Skyler. Skyler, come here.
Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Welcome back, everyone.
It's time to check in with student meteorologist Courtney Fowler from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University for a look at the national forecast.
With spring coming to a close, hurricane season is just around the corner. This is the 2025 name list for the upcoming season, with Dexter being a new addition to this list. You may be curious as to when hurricane season begins. Well, it starts June 1st and runs to the end of November, with peak hurricane activity occurring at the end of August and through October. Now, hurricanes can form before or after the season. It's just not likely. Colorado State University has issued their forecast for this upcoming season, slightly above average with 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. Now, water is the biggest hazard when it comes to hurricanes, with 86% fatalities occurring from storm surge and inland flooding. And how can you prepare for hurricane season? Well, create a checklist of essential items, research evacuation routes, and have enough non-perishable food to last 1 week. Additionally, have a first aid kit handy and a radio. This will all help you stay safe during hurricane season. Back to you, UCF.
Thanks, Courtney.
Now let's check in with Matthew Christmer for our weekly weather update.
Thanks, Lucas. Now let's jump into some local temperatures. So as per usual, if you lived in Florida, it's going to be hot, hot, hot. It's going to be hot, hot, hot. Make sure you're packing water, sunscreen, sunglasses, anything that'll help you beat the heat. As we talked about earlier, make sure you don't leave children or pets in the car. It can reach over 100 degrees very quickly. Also, if you're going to be outside, it might be worth it to bring bug spray as well, because the hot weather and the rain leads to a lot of mosquitoes. Other than that, make sure you enjoy your time out in the sun, but do be cautious about heat exhaustion. If you are feeling tired or faint, sit down, drink some cool water, and definitely don't let that develop into heat stroke. Other than that, just make sure you're staying safe, especially with the hurricane season coming up, and maybe buy some batteries or anything if you need it. That's all we have for now. I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to the anchors.
Women's rugby is making history this spring season.
Plus, Scott Frost has returned, and he's supporting the team in more ways than one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Softball.
right now.
What's up, Night Nation? My name is Cecily Webb, and this is your latest sports update. The UCF women's rugby team has built a strong foundation that has translated onto the field this season. I had a chance to talk with the team and learn about their unique dynamic as they head to nationals this week. From the recruiting process to the bond they build, this UCF women's rugby club has a unique touch to their team. Most of these players have never touched a rugby ball before stepping onto the field. Senior veteran Emily Rahaya shares about this team.
We have 2 other girls in the past 4 years who had played before UCF, and all the other ones we just literally harassed on the side of the road, and we were like, hey, come to practice.
Lana Kleiman-Haga, a former gymnast, started playing rugby this year after being approached on campus by the girls on the team.
We're throwing balls back and forth, they've got nice spirals, we're getting distance, we're like, wow. 4 months ago, we couldn't do this.
What starts as an invitation often turns into something much bigger. Senior Michaela Sinise shares her experience.
So I went out to practice, and I was just like, okay. And I tried to disappear, and then the coach at the time, he got my number from somebody, and he was like, I need you to come out. And so ever since then, I couldn't leave, you know? But I'm so happy I didn't, because I could not imagine the last 4 years of my life if I didn't play rugby.
Many of these girls told me they didn't know what to expect when coming to their first practice, but this team exceeded every single one of their expectations.
Can't even think about the friends I have that aren't on the rugby team. The sport is great, but it's the atmosphere, it's the culture, it's the girls, these are my sisters.
This team doesn't just have the bond, but they have the competition.
These are my friends. I come to stay fit, to stay in shape. I come because it's fun, and then I come to win, honestly.
In Orlando, I'm Cecily Webb, Charge On Air. The team will travel to Maryland this weekend for nationals for the first time in 4 years, hoping to bring home a national title. Returning football head coach Scott Frost pledged $500,000 to the launch of the Competitive Success Fund. The Competitive Success Fund will directly improve UCF's ability to recruit, retain, and develop its players. Frost said that he believes in the vision for UCF athletics and wants to contribute to the success of the student athletes. Coach said that UCF is a special place to him and his family, and that him and his wife Ashley are honored to donate. A gift like this shows Frost's love and dedication to the university. Well, that's all the sports I have for you today. Now it's time to head back to the desk.
That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our website, thechargenews.com.
You can follow us on Instagram at The Charge News. Thanks for watching and have a great day.